Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a pretty radical idea from Quranic metaphysics. What if our lives, our entire reality, isn't a straight line? What if we're all traveling on a cosmic Möbius strip?
You know the feeling, right? We tend to think of life as a linear story. There's a clear beginning, a middle, and an end. It's like an arrow shot from the past, flying straight into the future. But what if that's not the full picture? What if reality is less like that straight arrow and more like a continuous, infinite loop? With one single mind-bending twist in it. A single, unending surface, just like a Möbius strip.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this loop, we first need to understand its fundamental blueprint. It's a system the source describes with three key numbers: 3, 6, and 9. At the very heart of this model, you have two primal opposing forces. On one side, there's the Ruh, or spirit. Think of this as light. It's orderly, life-giving, kind of like cell division. And on the other side, you've got the Nefs, or ego. This is fire, chaotic, destructive, like nuclear fission. It's the source of pride.
So, these two forces play out in this 3-6-9 system. The number 3, that represents the pure state of the spirit, the realm of light. 9 represents the chaotic energy of the ego, the realm of fire. And 6, well, 6 is where it all comes together. That's the point where these two forces meet.
And this is exactly why the Möbius strip is such a perfect metaphor here. Because it's a single, continuous surface, it guarantees that at some point, light has to confront fire. There's no escaping it. That confrontation is literally built into the fabric of reality. So, where do we fit into all of this? Well, this is where the big abstract model gets really, really personal. Remember the number 6? In this system, it represents structured light. In other words, it's the physical world we all know and inhabit. It's that moment when a wave of possibility collapses into a real particle and becomes the stage for the ultimate test. And this is where the model pinpoints us. We exist right here, at point 6. This is the pivot of destiny, the critical junction where every single soul has to make a fundamental choice. So, what are the options? The first path is kibber, which is pride. That's the ego refusing to submit, and it leads you down toward the chaos of number 9, the fire. The second path is tauba, submission. This is the soul choosing to align with its true origin, and it leads you up, ascending back toward the harmony of number 3, the light. Now here's where things get even weirder. This model also suggests that time isn't a constant. Not at all. Let's look at a couple of case studies from the Quran that show just how flexible it can be. First up, the story of the cave sleepers. The Quran says Allah sealed their ears. In this model, that means all external wave input was cut off. It basically froze them in their particle state, hitting pause on their personal experience of time. For them, it felt like a nap, maybe a day, tops. But when they finally emerged from that cave, they discovered that 309 years had just vanished. Their bodies were on pause while the entire universe aged around them. And, there's a fascinating parallel here to a real-world quantum phenomenon, the quantum Zeno effect. It's this wild idea that if you continuously observe a quantum system, you can actually freeze it in place and stop it from evolving. It's like a watched pot never boils, but on a cosmic level. Okay, the second case study is even more of a mind-fender. A man dies and is brought back to life 100 years later. When he wakes up, his memory, his ruh, is perfectly intact. But his donkey, representing his physical self, his nafs, has completely decayed into dust. And the strangest part, his fruit, a symbol of his good deeds, was still perfectly fresh. 3 different timelines happening in the exact same spot. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that time isn't absolute. It can be frozen, it can be split, it can be totally manipulated. The physical rules we all take for granted are really just tools in a much larger cosmic play, where our spirit, our ego, and even our actions can all exist on different clocks. So if a soul chooses pride and starts to fall towards the fire, is that it? Is it a one-way trip? Not exactly. The model points to 2 powerful forces that can actually reverse that fall. On one side, you have divine ransom, or fidya. This is a direct intervention, an act of pure mercy, like the sacrifice substituted for Abraham's son. It steps in to keep the soul's core truth from collapsing completely. But then there's human repentance, tauba. This one is on us. It's our choice to dissolve our pride and consciously realign with our spiritual side. See how they work together? Think of it like this. Divine ransom is the lifeline thrown down from above, just to keep your inner light from going out. But human repentance is your choice to actually grab that lifeline and start the climb back up, reversing your own spiritual decay.
Okay, so this whole cosmic map, it's not just some abstract theory or an ancient story. The point the source makes is that this is the story we're living inside, right now. According to this model, the era of prophethood is closed, so we find ourselves in this long stretch of time between the archetype of law, represented by Musa, and the archetype of mercy, represented by Muhammad. And our guide, our map through this period, is the Quran. So let's bring it all home. Light comes down into matter. We find ourselves at point 6, our physical reality, staring right at the test. Every single choice we make steers our journey along this loop, either climbing back toward the light or sliding down toward the fire. This isn't a story you're just observing. It's the story you are in. Which brings us to the final provocative question this explainer leaves us with. On this continuous, twisted path of existence, every choice is a turn. So which way are you turning? Towards submission or towards pride?